Good evening, Namaskar. Greetings from Hyderabad, the Pearl City of India, which is currently getting hotter each day with summer having set in with its characteristic heat and dust. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this International Poetry Meet number 43 of the Literary Warriors Group, helmed by our multitasking and hugely accomplished Neelam Saxena, who wears multiple hats: senior bureaucrat, author, lyricist, founder of the LWG, and the Limca Book of Records holder 3 times. She modestly calls herself the technical facilitator of this meet. But here are a few lines about her in introduction. Neelam Saxena Chandra, a senior bureaucrat at the Indian Railways, currently posted in Kolkata, is the author of 78 books and holds 3 records in the Limca Book of Records. She has been honored with the Sohanlal Vivedi Puraskar for Children's Literature by the Maharashtra State Hindi Sahitya Academy, the Premchand Award by the Ministry of Railways, the Rabindranath Tagore International Poetry Award, the Freedom Award by Radio City for Lyrics, the Royal Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Setu Award for Excellence 2024, among many other accolades and awards. In 2014, Forbes India recognized Neelam Saxena as one of the 78 most popular authors in the country. Thank you, Neelam, for having me as the moderator of this meet. Thank you for this honor and opportunity. On behalf of Literary Warriors Group, once again, a warm welcome to you all. And it is my great honor and pleasure now to introduce my friend and renowned French and English poet, all the way from Nyon, Switzerland, Rolf Ishwar Jigme Doppenberg. By the way, Ishwar and Jigme are the names given to Rolf at 2 of the many temples that he visited while he was in India. Here are a few lines in his introduction. Mr. Rolf Doppenberg, from the French speaking part of Switzerland, is a full time nomadic writer. His work includes experimental poetry, travel prose, and fiction, and explores groundwater territories. His books are published by 5 publishers. He is regularly invited as a writer to international literature festivals. Since he participated in the International Poetry Meet of Amravati in Vijayawada, he has been diving into the Indian culture quite deeply. In addition to poems published in Indian anthologies like the Amaravati Poetic Prism, his essay, Anugraha Durga Devi Mandir, about his first experience in India, can be read in Truvelle, a travel, or I'm sorry, Truvel, I think, a travel anthology published by Penprints, Kolkata. To know more about Rolf Doppenberg, do visit www.viceversaliterature.ch stroke author stroke 12800. Thank you, Rolf, for joining us despite your indisposition. I
Thank
now
you,
have
Paddy.
great welcome, Rolf. I now have great pleasure in introducing a poet who has joined us from Canada, Miss Kuldeep Ahluwalia, an immigration consultant by profession and a certified human behavior facilitator with extensive experience on mental health issues. She's been a teacher, model, theater actress, and a radio and TV host. Kuldeep has acted in the Punjabi film Dur Nahi Nankana, short films Never Again and Dried Apricots, and has performed in numerous music videos. Wow. Kuldeep was invited as a keynote speaker on women uplifting and uniting the world at the 2016 Women Economic Forum and as a distinguished speaker at the World Punjabi Conference in Pakistan. She writes in English, Hindi, and Punjabi and is the author of Andhere Samet Kar Dekhein. A warm welcome to you, Kuldeep, to this 43rd International Poetry Meet of Literary Warriors Group.
Thank you, Paddy.
Closer home, we have in our midst today Sir Sampath Kumar from Kolkata, West Bengal, India. And here are a few lines about Sir Srinivasan Sampath Kumar is a bilingual poet, academic administrator, and an advocate at the Supreme Court of India. Born in Kolkata, he is a naturalist, wildlife photographer, political commentator, blogger. I'll repeat again. I think we lost connection for a minute. So, Sir Srinivasan Sampath Kumar is a bilingual poet, academic administrator, and an advocate at the Supreme Court of India. Born in Kolkata, he is also a naturalist, wildlife photographer, political commentator, blogger, and author of novels and short stories. His literary contributions include 3 coffee table books, 2 novels, 3 poetry anthologies, a treatise on the Tamils of Bengal, and a book on self-improvement. His poems explore diverse themes from surrogacy and female feticide to pressing social issues reflecting his activism. In 2006, Sir Sampath Kumar was honored with the Knight Grand Cross, Italy's second highest civilian award, by the Italian government. A warm welcome, Sir Sampath Kumar. It's an honor to have you in our midst. Personally, for me, it's always a joy to meet online and offline my dear friend from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, Miss Hema Ravi. She's a dear friend. Hema Ravi is a poet, author, reviewer, and the editor of the Chennai Poets Circle's annual poetry anthology, Efflorescence. Is also an independent researcher and resource person for workshops. Her poems, short stories, travelogues, and articles have been featured in reputed international online and print journals. She is the author of Joie de Vivre, The Book Sings Again, Everyday English, and Write Handwriting Series 1, 2, 3. Hema Ravi has been rendering support as the communicative English trainer for the students of She Will STEAM project, an initiative of IIT Madras, the Indian Institute of Technology Madras, which is also iwill.iitm, to empower girls. As the secretary of the Chennai Poets Circle, she empowers aspirants to unleash their creative potential very efficiently and to the fullest. Welcome, Hema. It's a joy to have you in our midst. Yes, Neelam, what were you saying?
Thank you. Thank you.
And now I would like to welcome our host, Padmaja Iyengar Paddy, a senior ex-banker and a former urban governance consultant who has edited 6 international multilingual poetry anthologies and 4 English poetry anthologies, of which Amravati Poetic Prism 2016 to 19 have been recognized by the Limca Book of Records as poetry anthology in most languages. Paddy's poetry collections, Penchants, has been recognized by the India Book of Records for never before attempted management subjects and movie reviews in rhyming poetry. Penchants again is her latest poetry collection. Paddy was conferred the honorary degree of Doctor of Literature in November 2024 at the 43rd World Congress of Poets. And one line which I would like to add here is, these international poetry meets were started by Paddy and me. So welcome, Paddy.
The two of us. Thank you so much, Neelam, for that very generous introduction. And with the formal introductions done, let's now commence our business session. That's the first round of poetry reading, for which I invite Rolf Doppenberg from Nyon, Switzerland. Over to you, Rolf. Please read your first poem.
Thank you, Paddy.
Namaste to everyone. I'm very pleased to read a poem which I wrote recently when I was in Kolkata. The first morning I was in Kolkata, I decided to go to the Hooghly River to greet the waters of the Ganga, and that's what the Ganga inspired to me. The poem is dedicated to the writer Prabal Basu Kumar. Is it the banyan tree on the shore of the Hooghly River, Fairly Place Ghat, ferry terminal jetty number 2? Is it the banyan tree supporting the little mandir, its roots touching the waters of the Ganga River? Or is it the little blue mandir being hauled for the banyan tree, its roots embracing the basement of the sanctuary, thin fingers of wood weaving the ground? Is it the stone of the mandir gathering the dreams of the banyan tree? Or is it the tree learning the language of the temple? Since long they are making love, sharing their seps of a silent song. Is it the banyan tree, or is it the little mandir? The hand of the banyan opens and receives the offering of the temple song. Is it the banyan tree, or is it? Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What a beautiful poem, Rolf.
Thank you.
And as always, your poem touches a sensitive chord in us, and especially the vivid imagery that you have painted of the banyan tree, the Ganges, Ganga River, and the surroundings. It's just beautiful. Thank you so much, Rolf, for that first poem of yours. I now request you, Rolf, to please read your second poem.
The second poem is very short. I wrote it when I was recently in Darjeeling. It's a completely different atmosphere in the mountains. It's also related to a temple. In this case, it is a Tibetan Buddhist temple. The title of the poem is the name of the monastery, of the temple, Buddhist temple. Druk Sang Nak Choling, Darjeeling before dawn. Going to Druk Sang Nak Choling, the road is dark and wet. Fog swallows the houses. At the top of the stairway, the temple is lightened from inside. Shrine of jewels shining in the mist. Thank you.
Beautiful.
That was another beautiful piece.
Yeah, we could visualize a temple through the fog of Darjeeling. That's so beautifully
And
expressed,
having
Rolf.
done a coffee table book in on Darjeeling, for me it is I can visualize the monastery as you speak.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fine. I'm glad about it. Thank you.
Yes. So beautiful. Thank you, Rolf, for joining us, and thank you for this lovely poem of yours. It's now
Yeah, thank you.
my pleasure, completely. I now invite our friend all the way from Canada, our guest, Miss Kuldeep Ahluwalia, to please read her poem.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you for inviting me. And I'll start with my first poem. And the title of the poem is The Goblet of Silence. Beyond sunset, before the influx of night, in the loneliness of grayish, unveiled evening, under the glow of dim light, behind the curtains where the ringing of bells in the temple, prayers in the mosque, holy service behind the church walls, everything remained unheard. Someone, with ardent flutter in the heart, broke the silence by pouring the cascade of priceless love from the shade of soft, drunken lips, a goblet of wine through eyes, magical, chilled, strong, rich, sparkling, and clear, yet thirsty, the liberated spirit longing for an angelic sip of wine, the curative one and divine, the wine of solitude, the purest moments of immeasurable eternity for nothingness. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kuldeep, for your supremely really rich and sparkling poetry. I think these words have appeared in your poem also. Really sparkling poetry. And thank you for such a wonderful reading. Now, with great pleasure, I invite Sir Sampath Kumar from Kolkata, West Bengal, India, to please read his poem. Over to you, Sir Sampath Kumar.
Thank you, Paddy. The first one is a little eerie poem, like the Stephen King's stories.
Yes.
It's about a lone sailor in a dark sea. The title is Lone Sailor. The wind has stopped blowing, a chilling stillness engulfing. Everything seems frozen, her voice gone from his numbed mind. The macho sails, like the puffer fish, have drooped like the fallen soldiers. The huge waves have vanished. The turbulent seas seem a placid lake. The quietness is furthered by the hovering dark clouds above. What could have caused these freeze?
I think you have to unmute.
Please unmute Sir Sampath.
Sir Sampath Kumar, I think you have muted yourself.
Oh, my apologies.
You have suddenly
As
muted.
it
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I don't know where I ended, but as it sets, the sun must rise, agonies must end, and joys renewed. There is rumbling from the underneath. The dark seas too seem alive again. From the depths rise two huge whales, parting the fathomless dark waters, still mating in deep embrace and rising like steep cliffs. A colony of seagulls magically arrive. The world is vibrant and symphonious. The forest looms on the horizon, her flute melodies gently reaching him. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. And your poem too has created a vivid imagery, much like Stephen King's, as mentioned by you, and ending with hope and life. Thank you for taking us along in this sail, Sir Sampath
Thank,
Kumar. That was a lovely
thank you.
poem. Thank you.
Thank you.
I now welcome my dear friend Hema Ravi from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, to please read her poem, for which she has chosen a very unusual Bengali title, Rikasa Oela Taratari Aso. I hope I got it right, which loosely translated means Rikshawala comes soon. Over to you, Hema. Please read your poem.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And I may not be perfect in my pronunciation. Sampath Kumar, sir, please excuse. Rikshala Taratari Yasho. Rikshawala comes soon. Through the traffic snarled roads and by lanes, he trudges. He trudges with his regular customer, a plump lady continuously jabbering. He plods on, unmindful, as beads of sweat trickle down his gnarled face. Rain or shine, he is ready when the sun is up. The little ones need to be dropped off at school and picked up in the evening. In the remaining time, he pulls his rickshaw to earn a few pennies. Know something? In the monsoons, when the roads are chock-a-block, he knows too well which route to take through the narrowest of lanes to your destination in record time. Seldom one cares to give him that extra tip. Well, he too has no escape from the bakshish to the cop, still manages to take home a few pennies to feed his family a meager meal. Yes, for his pan, beedi, sharab, he sets aside. Promises from the governing authorities, occasional hue and cry from human rights groups to train them in other professions, yet to see the light of day. The iconic rickshaw puller walks on the streets of Kolkata unfazed. The iconic rickshaw puller walks on the streets of Kolkata unfazed. Thank you.
Beautiful poem.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
a beautiful poem because rickshawalas are now a kind of fading tribe in India. Very few cities still have rickshawalas. And thank you, Hema, for so sensitively portraying the plight of the rickshaw puller. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's now our Karta Dharta Neelam's turn to regale us with her poetry. Over to you, Neelam.
Thank you for inviting me, but please don't call me Karta Dharta. Karta Dharta
You
is
are,
only one.
Neelam. You are our Karta Dharta for this wonderful group.
We are
here.
all his agents, his or her.
Yeah,
So
sure.
here goes my poem. It's titled Reflections. Blacken the reflections, erase them, wipe them, forget them. No traces. Are there no traces though? Is real life as easy as using an AI editor to erase people in the background or things that you want to get rid of? The memories of blackening, erasing, wiping remain, even if the reflections disappear. Despite many emperors forcing the writers to modify the sequence of events and the writers acceding to their diktat, either in exchange of money, goodies, or for fear, voices have often been heard in the alleys where common men live. Articulations that keep getting passed on through generations. History that's written often conflicts with history that's heard. History that's written often conflicts with history that's heard. Traces of reality appear in history when the powerful want it least. Traces of reality appear even in present when you want it least. When the reflections emerge, they strike with quadruple velocity. So that was my poem. Hope you all liked it.
Absolutely, Neelam.
Wonderful.
A wonderful.
moving- Thank you
Very
so
moving.
much.
Yes.
So
And
moving.
thank you, Neelam. Yeah, please.
No, it's my turn now.
I have to say something. I must thank you for your reflections on the history that was or might have been, and history that as we see now. I think that was the central theme of your poem. How history is conflicted in itself, as
Yeah.
it served to us in the current reality. Thank you,
Yes.
Neelam, for that lovely poem.
My pleasure. I'm so glad that you liked it. And 4 lines from me. Ego fades like mist at dawn, a fleeting shadow here, then gone. In losing self, the soul stands free. No weight to hold, just infinity. We've had several discussions on the topic, isn't it, Padima? I would love to hear a poem, if any, on the theme.
Sure, sure, sure. Um, Thank you, Neelam, for the opportunity. The title of my poem is The Lurking Monster. Self divided into so many selves. I, me, myself. Does that also divide our ego or multiply it? I searched for answers everywhere, not finding it anywhere. I finally delved deep within. Lo and behold, the answer, bare and bold, stood before me, telling me that I'm a nobody and I'm nothing. Ego is a self created monster, a beast ready to devour all the good done and ruining all the good waiting to be done. Beware of this lurking monster, ready to finish off our abilities through a false sense of done so much when actually a lot more remains to be done. Thank you.
That was wonderful, Padima. A lovely poem.
Thank you. Thank you. So we now are done with the first round of poetry reading. Thank you all for such lovely poems, and it gives me hope for hearing, and it gives me the opportunity to hear more from you because there's time to have a second round of poetry reading also. So in the second round, I'll slightly change, as I'd mentioned, slightly change the calling order of poets. And accordingly, I now invite Hema Ravi from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India, to please read her poem. We started with a male in the first round, so we'll start with a female in the second round.
Okay, thank you. Um, See, the seven doppelgangers is supposedly a myth and not supported by scientific evidence. But in our interactions, it is always possible to assume that one is another with whom we are acquainted with. So here goes my poem. It's titled A Smirk and Off He Rode. I waved from one side of the road. Long time no see. Rather reluctantly, a smirk, and off he rode. Strange. He could have been civil, not that he was running away from the devil. Multiple times for their family, I've played host. He darts off as if he's seen a Halloween ghost. Yet another day, I met him again. In such a hurry, could you not stop to reply? My displeasure I did not feign. In that customary voice, he uttered nonchalantly, "We never met recently." He uttered nonchalantly, "We never met recently." Sheepish, I stood muted. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Hema. That was a very realistic poem because we do come across such people like the one you mentioned in your poem. Sad, really, but there are such people. And we
Thank
have
you.
to, we are mute witnesses, that's all.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Sir Sampath Kumar, it's now your turn to read your poem, please. I hope, Rolf, you read both your poems, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Yeah.
I was a student when I saw a movie where Wahida Rahman was a nurse, nursing a patient who had lost his mind, and she falls in love with that patient, and the patient gets well and walks away. So it had, touched my mind so deeply. I don't know who the hero was, but then we were more concerned with the heroines those days.
It was Dharmendra.
Could be. I don't remember. We don't care about the heroes. No,
Yes.
we care about the heroines only. So this poem is on that subject only. The caption is "A Nurse's Reward." A return to ward right away. The medical superintendent sounds grave. She quickly adorns her uniform and rushes back. Another critical case, a young man with severe head injuries. His pulse is faint, his other parameters weak, but she is unfazed. She is a nurse. She follows the regimen, detailed around the clock, for this patient with memory loss. With care, she administers medication, shaves him, cleans him, feeds him as prescribed, while he gazes intently at her. He is young and handsome, yet she tends without emotion. Still, humanness fills her mind, and slowly she falls for him. He often holds her hand, kisses it, murmurs of love. Weeks pass. Then one day, he wakes. The doctors call it a miracle. She is happy, and then not. His memory returns. He is normal now, fit, ready for discharge by day's end. She hurries in with a bright bouquet. She is the one who cared for you, says the doctor. He looks thankful, but it is not love. His outstretched hand holds a hefty tip. Thank you.
Yes. Sir Sampath Kumar, this brought back memories of that beautiful movie Khamoshi,
I know I
in
don't
which
remember the name,
Rajesh
nothing, but I
Khanna,
remember
Wahida
very
Rehman.
well.
I'm a
I
movie
remember
buff,
that.
I'm a movie buff. So, the moment I read the poem, my mind went back to Khamoshi, this movie in which Rajesh Khanna, Wahida Rehman, and Dharmendra acted so well. It's a beautiful poem, and
Yeah,
you brought back those memories. Thank you.
thank you, thank you,
And such a moving poem. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Uh, I now invite a friend from Canada, Kuldeep Ahluwalia, to please read her second poem.
Thank you, Paddy. And it's a very sensitive poem. I would say my second poem. The title is Survivor's Spirit. A chained heart, a shattered home, a chained heart, a shattered home unveils the silent tale of pain unknown. Scars of physical, mental, financial, emotional strains, unseen, yet tight control binds the soul in chains. Behind closed doors, violence painted the walls. In aching but fragile hearts, its echo recalls. A soul wounded with words, afraid to speak, tragic storm of chaos and darkness at its peak. Childhood is stolen, disrupted silence they wear, innocence lost, deep scars and burden they bear. Laughter silenced, a silent scream so profound and deep, trapped in the tainted world where suffering creep. Raise the voice strong and muster the courage within. A survivor's spirit is determined to fight the battle and win. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice.
What a touching poem, Kuldeep. It gnaws at the core of one's heart. Such a such a touching and moving poem. And this line in your poem I liked very much. A survivor's spirit is determined to fight the battle and win. So true, and it says it all about the poem and the survivor. Thank you so much. It's always a joy for me to invite Neelam Saxena, to please read her second poem. Over to you, Neelam.
Thank you, Padima. So, my poem is titled Hibernation. Hibernating is an art. Hibernating is an art. The reptiles and frogs hibernate to escape from the unfriendly environment. They know that the cold and frost can make them numb. When you are hurt, when time gives you voids, when the atmosphere strikes and you get wounded, hibernate. When you feel weak, when the opponent uses unhealthy jargons, don't attack, hibernate. Hibernating is not a sign of weakness. You're only temporarily down. When you come out of hibernation, you would have ruminated on the matter and would be sure whether the issue is worth striking back. If not, you'd smile and rest, for your hibernation would act as a balm. Otherwise, you would be better armed on how to resist the attacks. Life itself is a battle, and hibernation and coming out will go on. Life itself is a battle, and hibernation and coming out will go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelam, for that meaningful and positive poetic treatise on the art of hibernation, on hibernation itself. In fact, it is something which has been my favorite pastime for the longest of time. I'm very fond of hibernating.
Very
So thank you,
interesting.
Neelam.
And it's my turn now. So, a four-liner. Flowing rivers, open skies. No need to chase, no need for ties. Being is enough, pure and free, just as nature meant to be. We would love to hear your second poem, Padima.
Thank you, Neelam. The title of my second poem is Can't Be Otherwise. Within every struggling wife, there's a saga. Every struggling housewife, rather, there's a saga that doesn't let her be otherwise. Within every hardworking man, there's a story that doesn't let him be otherwise. Within most crying children, there's a yearning to be noticed that doesn't let them be otherwise. Within most compassionate persons, there's a strong desire to help others that doesn't let them be otherwise. Within most successful writers, there's their endless creativity that doesn't let them be otherwise. But within the chirping birds, the playful pups, the swaying leaves, the blossoming flowers, there's no desire, and they just can't be otherwise. Thank you.
That was wonderful and
Thank you, Neelam.
could not be otherwise.
Yes, thank you so much. So it's been a wonderful session, such lovely poems read. And with this, we come to the conclusion of both the sessions of Literary Warrior Group's Poetry Meet 43. Much gratitude to you, distinguished poets, Rolf Doppenberg, Kuldeep Ahluwalia, Hema Ravi, Sir Sampath Kumar, and of course Neelam for your poetry and for providing this wonderful platform to all of us. Heartfelt thanks, Neelam. And I now request you to please share your thoughts.
Well, we have been conducting these international poetry meets since more than 3.5 years, and we do it monthly, and we invite poets from across the world. Initially, Padima and I were doing it. Then there have been other friends who joined, Rupa, Nivedita, Vahida, Maitri, Purna. So it has been a very nice journey. And I've always loved hosting or being the technical facilitator for these meets because we get to hear thoughts from across the world. So today was another very interesting day. You know why I took Rolf in a solo view because there's so much of Indianness in him despite not being
Yes.
an Indian.
Yes.
And there are so many Indians who don't want to be Indians and like to just copy without thinking.
Very true.
So that gives different perspectives. Like Kuldeep is from Canada, and this is the second time I'm hearing her. So she brought some different aspects. So, like everybody mingles and brings different thoughts and vision. The poems by Sir Sampath were very interesting, especially based on that Bollywood movie. So that was interesting indeed. I really loved it. I had seen the movie, but this was so perfectly written and even vivid imagery in the first poem. And then Hema is a dear, dear poet. And above all, Padima, you moderated the session so well, so well. Thank you so much. Despite being engaged yesterday completely and having so many difficulties, you do it so well. Hats off to you. So it
My
has been a
honor.
wonderful meet, and the my words would be incomplete without thanking Rupa Rao, who has been there throughout the session, Gayatri Joshi, and Ipsita Ganguly, who was there for quite a while. And she was remembering you all with so much of love. She knew almost everybody except, I suppose, Kuldeep. She has met everybody when they were in Kolkata. From Impish Lass Publishing House, Meena Mishra was there. Surekha Sau, my dear friend, was there. She's coming to Kolkata tomorrow, and I am eagerly awaiting her. So it was a wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you, Padima. Thank you, all the dear poets, Sir Sampath, Kuldeep, Hema, and Ron.
And a big thank you to all the people who have joined from on Neelam Saksena's Facebook page to enjoy our poetry and to encourage us with their meaningful feedback and comments. Thank you all, friends, for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
believe me, your presence and feedback mean a lot to all of us here. Thanks again.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye.